Welcome back, students. So here we are with one more problem on transportation. So let me write the problem here. Fine. So this is the problem. That is example number 2. Fine. So determine an initial basic feasible solution to the following PP using northwest corner rule, NWCR. Fine. So these are the values here. That is D1, D2, D3, followed by D4, and followed by supply. Whereas here it is O1, O2, O3, and followed by demand. Fine. So here let me write the values. So fine. So let me write the values. That is 6, 4, 1, 5. That is 8, 9, 2, 7, 4, 3, 6, and 2. Here it is 6, 10, 15, and 4. So it is 14, 16, 5. Total is 35. Fine. So this is the given problem, and the given problem is treated as a matrix, that is rows and columns. Fine. So this is what the supply and this is what the demand. So first of all we need to check whether the supply is equal to demand. So if it is supply is equal to demand, then the transportation problem is balanced. Fine. So solution. Fine. The problem is a balanced TP as the total supply is equal to demand, that is summation of AI is equal to summation of Bj is equal to 35. So then only we can solve it by transportation problem, irrespective of the number of rows and columns. If number of rows is equal to, irrespective of number of rows and columns, total supply and total demand, if both are same, then we can say it is a transportation problem. Then we can say there exists a initial basic feasible solution. Therefore, there exists a initial basic feasible solution. Fine. So let me draw the table once again here. So it is D1, D2, D3 followed by D4. This time I am drawing table very big here. so that easy for explanation. Find 1, 1, 2, 3, that is demand. So now let me write the values here. It is 6 followed by 4, 1, 5, and here it is 14. So carefully look how I am writing the table here. So fine. So next comes 8, 9, 2, 7, and supply is 16. So I am writing it like this. So carefully watch how I am writing here. Fine. So it is 4 followed by 3 followed by 6, 2, then 5. So it is 6 here. I am writing little bit up here. 6 followed by 10, then followed by 15, and 4. Total supply and demand is equal to 35. So this is how we are supposed to write the table. Fine. Now start solving it. So the first allocation will be done in the northwest corner. Means northwest corner means this is the first corner. So here the allocation starts. Fine. So compare the demand and supply here. So which is the greater one? Here supply is the greater one, whereas the demand is what? Less. So what I do here? So taking this demand and subtracting with the supply. So 14 minus 6 is how much? 14 minus 6 is what? Remaining is 8. So 8 is remaining. So 6 minus 6 is 0. So this complete. So let me write 6 here. So what happens here? This complete column will get exhausted. So we need to exhaust the row or a column if it gets 0. We have to exhaust a row or a column if the supply or demand get exhausted. Here now demand is got exhausted, so this column D1 column will be removed. Fine. So once we remove the column, go to the next column. Fine. Go to the next column. So here it is what? Again check the demand and supply. So here demand is greater compared to the supply 8. Fine. Because this is what get exhausted. Move to the next column and next cell in that same column. Next cell in the next column. I mean to say next column. So this is the column and cell 1 comma 1. Then we need to move 1 comma 2 because the column 1 has got exhausted. Go to the next column and here it is. So check the demand and supply. So here demand is greater, that is 10, and supply is smaller. Fine. So let me subtract 8 here. Remaining is 2. So here 8 minus 8 is 0. Now this row get exhausted. So let me write 8 here. So this complete row get exhausted. Come to the next row. So it is clear that if a column get exhausted, come to the next column. And if a row got exhausted, come to the next row. So now presently row got exhausted, come to the next row. So when we come here, so check the demand and supply. So here demand is 2, supply is 16, which is greater. So 16 minus 2 is 14. So 0 here. So this column got exhausted. Let me write 2 here. Fine. Okay. Then come. So this column got exhausted. Next, come to the next column here. So check the demand and supply. Here demand is 15. Supply is how much? 14. So what happens here? Subtraction 1. So here it becomes 0. Now this row got exhausted. Let me write here 14. Fine. So come to the next row here. So what happens here? It is 1 and it is 5. The demand is 1, supply is 5. So which is the greater one? So this is what? 4. This is what? 0. So this column get exhausted. Let's come to the next column. So what here? Both are saying both are get exhausted. So let me write 4. So at the last, all the rows and all the columns got exhausted, and at the last supply and demand are equal. They come to 0, means our supply and demand is equal to equal now. So this is how we have to solve this one. So once it is 0, 0 here at the end, we need to write these values. So solution is given by x11 is equal to 6, x12 is equal to 8, x22 is equal to 2. Fine. Then x23 is equal to 14, x33 is equal to 1, x34 is equal to 4. Fine. So these are the values. So the total cost is equal to, what happens here? 6 into 6. It means what? This into this, then this into this. That is 8 into 4 plus 2 into 9 plus 14 into 2 plus 1 into 6 plus 4 into 2. Fine. So how many allocations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the total cost is how much here? If you calculate this one, it becomes rupees 128 rupees. So this is what the initial basic feasible solution for this transportation problem. So these problems will be asked for 8 marks in final exams. Fine. Thank you.